Welcome to pronunciation lesson number 3. Today is all about combinations of letters. But first, let's look at a little part of the last video. There is actually another one that I forgot, and I promise it's the last one I forget about. I promise it's the last one I forget about.
I promise it's the last one I forget about. I promise.
I'm never gonna make promises again because I actually forgot 2 of them. So last time on the wall I had one right there, and it's ikrema. This. And it was on the wall, but I just forgot to talk about it, so we're gonna talk about it now. There are 2 ways of pronouncing it. The first way is pronounced as I, like that, like in maïs. Second way of being pronounced is ye, like this symbol here, ye. What I noticed is when it's pronounced yeah, it's because the I with tréma is between 2 vowels, like in aïeul or paranoia. And otherwise, if it's between a vowel and a consonant, it's gonna be I. Don't worry, you're not gonna have to use this letter a lot. I've been through a list of words earlier because I wanted some examples, and it's mostly used in like really complicated words that like even me, I didn't know some of them. So the other one I forgot about is I, like that. It looks like an arrow pointing to the top, but it's I with accent circonflexe. It's like U with accent circonflexe. The accent circonflexe on the I doesn't change the pronunciation of the letter. Here I have the word jit. It would be pronounced usually without the accent jit, but there's an accent circonflexe on the I. Same thing for boîte, B-O-I accent circonflexe T-E. Without the accent it would make boîte, but there's an accent, so it's boîte, because O and I makes wa, boîte. And also same thing for maître, M-A-I accent circonflexe T-R-E, and I together makes E. With or without the accent it would be maître, but there's an accent on it. Now I want to talk about the letter X, because I was saying that the only word that ends with an X that the X is pronounced is X, which makes X. But I actually found another one, lynx, which is lynx. It ends with X and it sounds like X. But also, my mom made me notice that there are 2 other words that the X at the end is pronounced. So it's the number 6 and the number 10, so 6 and 10. The X at the end is going to be pronounced as S. 10, 6. Okay, so the letter X has 5 ways of being pronounced. One, it's at the end of a word, but it's not the last letter of a word. It's going to be X, like tax. When it's mostly in the beginning of a word, it's going to make X, like exemple. And when it's at the end of a word, either it's going to make X, like lynx, or X. Either it's going to make S, like this, or cis, or either it's going to not be pronounced at all, like mur. Finally, before we start with today's subject, there's the last thing I want to talk about, and it's about F, the letter F. Last time in the other video, I gave you an example, and I was saying cerf, but I noticed that most of the people don't say the F at the end, and actually that's the right thing. You're not supposed to say cerf, but serre, okay? And we're gonna look at it together in another video, probably next video, when I'm gonna show you which letter you should pronounce at the end and not. So most of the time in French you don't pronounce the last letter, and in this case, don't say cerf. It was my mistake. And I'm not gonna promise you that I got them all, because last time I did and I forgot some, but I think I'm gonna show you them all. I'm gonna start with the combinations of consonants because there are less than combination with including vowels. Let's go! Let's start with this one here. So it's G and N, and it makes nye. So G and N always makes nye, like in agneau, which is a lamb, you know, like the cute little sheep. Next one is P and H together. So that together makes like in phrase, which is the sentence. Then we have C and H, making sh, like chenille, which is caterpillar. English speaking people are gonna have to be careful here because we're talking about T and H, the ash. It doesn't make the, like in English, it only makes T, like T. I have an example is T, T-H, accent aigu. It means T. No, the, T. Next one is the combination of S, C, H, and it makes sh. Like in schema, which is the word for outline. You know, when you write like an essay, you need to make an outline in the beginning. Well, in French, we make a schema. So I got another combination of consonants right here. It's S and C. It makes S. For example, scène, which is a scene, a stage, or C, which is a saw that you cut wood with. Now, first combination of letter we're going to see with a vowel is going to be with E. So the combination E and Z that makes E. Like this word, nez, which is nose, it makes E. And also something particular, every time that a verb is the second person of plural, so with vous, the pronoun vous, V-O-U-S, it's going to end with E and Z. Of course, there are some exceptions, but we're not gonna see that now. But most of the time, like a lot of times, when it's with vous, it's gonna end with un z and it's pronounced e. Next one is also with e, so it's an e, but it makes e. Like neige, which is snow, or beigne, which is donut. Staying with the sound e, we have a-i-s. E. For example, in a word like maison, which is house, home, we have yes, maison. Or jamais, which is never. Now we're talking about a and e. So there are two ways to pronounce a and e. First one, I'm gonna start with this one, is e. So whenever a and e is not at the end of a word, it's gonna be e. For example, aime, which is love, or faire, which is to do, faire, But when it's at the end of a word, then it's going to be pronounced a. For example, j'ai, which is I have, or mai, which is May, the month. At the end of a word, it's a. Not at the end of a word, it's e. Another one that has two ways to being pronounced is e and t. It's going to be pronounced as e when it's at the end of a word, chalet, jouet. Otherwise, it's gonna be pronounced a. But the only word I can think of that is pronounced a and is e and t, and t, is a, which is and, a and d, a. If you have and t in the middle of a word, just like that, it's gonna be pronounced et. So, petit, retard, bretelle. What we can conclude with that is that when e and t is at the end of a word, it's e. When it's only the word e and t together, it's e. And when there's no, it's in the middle of a word and there's no accent on top, it's gonna be et. So you pronounce like both letters like they are pronounced in the alphabet. There is also a last thing I want to talk about with e, the letter e. When e is in front of double consonants. For example, here you have two R's, here you have two T's, and here you have two N's. Whenever it's in front of double consonants, it's going to make the sound E. Here we have terre, which is earth. Here we have trottinette, you know, the little scooter. And then here you have reine, which is the animal, the reindeer. But there's an exception though that I can think of, and I'm going to tell you right now. Because here it's woman. It is not pronounced femme like it should be because it's in front of two double consonants, but it's pronounced femme with a. That's an exception. It's not femme, it's femme. Now let's switch to another sound. I have the combination letters I and U and A, U, X. Let's start with I and U. Both make O. So for example, mauve, which is purple, my favorite color. And tuyau, which is pipe, at the end it ends with AU. For AUX, it's mostly gonna be like the plural of words. For example, tuyau, you would add X to make it plural. Also, most of the time, it's gonna be the plural of words that end with A and L. So canal, canot, mal, mot. But there are some exceptions, of course. I'm not gonna talk about like the plural forms today, but I just wanted to mention it so you know something more. Another form of O is E-A-U or E-A-U-X. For example, E-A-U is a word itself, it's water, O. You also have it in bateau, boat, at the end of the word, or in beauté, beauty. So every time you see E-A-U together, it's gonna make O. E-A-U-X, it's like an U. When you add X, it's because it's a plural form. So if I add X to O, it makes water to the plural form. It's the same if you add X here, bateau, it makes boats. Another one that makes O is ONT at the end of a word. It doesn't matter if the accent is there or not. With the accent or not, it's gonna make O for sure. For example, tantôt, which is later, tantôt. Or mot, which is word. If it's in the middle of a word, it's gonna be pronounced as the same that I taught you in the other video before in lesson number 2, how to pronounce every letter in a word. Total. So in the last video, I was telling you that O is pronounced A in words and T stays T. So total. Or example, capital of Canada. Ottawa. Because O in words is pronounced A and T. Ottawa. So O and T is going to be pronounced as it should be pronounced letter by letter, unless it's at the end of the word and it's going to make O with an accent or with no accent. Next sound is going to be U. O and U makes U. Whatever, if there's an accent on the U or not, it's going to stay U. For example, goût, which is taste, or bouge, which is move. Next combination of letters is also a combination of sounds. So O and E, O-E-S, and O-E-X is going to make wa. A combination of the sound W and A. Wa. So wa, wa, wa. For example, in a word like moi, which is me, choix, which is choice, or chinois, which is Chinese, we have OE, OEX, OES, which is wa, wa, wa. Wa is not always going to be at the end of a word. Often you're going to see it in the beginning or in the middle of a word. And I'm going to start with something. You're going to see some word with OES and in the beginning or in the middle. But OES, I just taught you that it makes wa. But it makes wa when it's at the end of a word. OES only when it's at the end of a word. Otherwise, you just pronounce OE as wa and you pronounce the S as it should be. Now, since in these two examples, it's in between two vowels, it's gonna make Z. So OES at the beginning and in the middle makes was. So here you have oiseau, which is a bird, choisir, which is to choose. In the other cases, when it's OE and another letter, it's gonna stay wa. This example has an accent on the E, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still wa. So boîte, boîte. I'm gonna show you an exception word with wa. Actually, this is onion, this is onion. You don't say oignon, onion, onion. So it would be onion. Now we're going to another combination of letters that has more than one sound. So we have I, E, N that makes yen. So y plus un, yen. For example, we have the word here, chien, which is dog, or rien, which is nothing. You're mostly gonna see this combination of letters in the end of a word. Now to another sound, combination letters E, L, L, E makes two sounds. First one, it's the most popular one, so most of the time it's gonna be this one. It's gonna make E, E. So E and Y, E. For example, chenille, we have it at the end, chenille. You have fille, which is girl, fille. Or billet, 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 which is ticket. The other way of pronouncing it is il, il. So E and L, il. For these words, I think you're gonna have to learn them and know that they are pronounced like that. But there are more like this one than this one. So you have city, which is ville, ville, and mille, which is 1,000. Mille, ville, il. Next combination of letters is the letters E and U. There are two ways being pronounced. So first we have E. When it's pronounced E, it's mostly gonna be at the end of a word, okay? So for example, feu, de, there are so many more, mieux, peu, a lot of words that it's gonna be E at the end of a word, no matter what the letter, the final letter is, because sometimes it's not gonna be U, there's going to be another letter like X, T, E, when it's at the end of a word, and when there's like only one letter after, it's E. Otherwise, when it's in the middle of words, it's going to be E, but that's the only word I could think of, because when E and U is in the middle of a word, most of the time it's going to be E. E, okay? So this is the word I thought of that made in the middle of a word, but most of the time it's going to be For example, feuille, jeune, beurre. So you hear it, jeune, deux, feuille, feu, okay? Next one is E-U-I-L, which makes œil, œil. A little detail here, most of the time it's gonna be like combined with C in front of it, most of the time. My examples, the examples I could find are all with C. So, cueillir, accueil. You're gonna see this combination of letter maybe also with sometimes E-U-I-L-L-E, like an example I gave you in the word before, feuille. And by writing that, it made me think of another example for only E-U-I-L, which is not combined with C, and it's écureuil, squirrel, squirrel, E-U-I-L, œil. Whatever, if it's E-U-I-L-L-E or only E-U-I-L, it's œil. Another combination, it's a word itself, it's gonna be O-E-I-L, and it makes œil, œil, like that is an I. O-E-U has two ways of being pronounced as well. So first one, I'm gonna start with this one here. It's E. So F, which is egg, is at the singular form. So one egg. F. Sœur, which is sister, or bœuf, which is beef. You know, like the animal, the bœuf, the beef. It's gonna be if you have to pronounce the other letter after. F, sœur, bœuf. It looks like there's an earthquake, but it's just my cat playing with the thing I have my computer on. But to start over, F, sœur, bœuf. Otherwise, it's gonna be pronounced So when it's at the end of a word, and you don't pronounce the letter after, like which is eggs. So in the singular it's F, in plural it's ver, which is a vowel, ver, and beur, which is the plural of bœuf. So to resume, when the O, U is the last sound at the end of a word, it's going to be but if there's another sound after, like a f or a m or whatever, it's going to be Then you have U and I. making oui. You know that little oui. For example, nuit, nuit, which is night, huile, which is oil, or étui, which is case, you know, like which you put your pencils in, étui. And next thing we're going to talk about is the combination of letters with nasal vowels. There's something particular with that. They have multiple ways to be written. Every combination of letters that includes like the nasal sound is always a vowel plus N. Okay? Vowel plus N. But when it's before P or B, so when it's before P, the consonant P or the consonant B, it's gonna transform to vowel plus M. I just wanted to let you know that before because it's the same for all of them. Let's start with the nasal vowel on. So it's gonna be written O-N or O-M if it's in front of B or P. My first example is bon, which is good. Then you see it's gonna be C-O-M because there's a P, but this P is not gonna be pronounced in this word, so it's pronounced compte, which is an account or to count. And I have another example. Actually, it's the same sound pronounced twice. Con, but because this one is in front of B, it's gonna be C-O-M, C-O-M. C-O-N, C-O-M-B, concombre. There's an exception though. The word here, bonbon, which is candy, even if it's in front of a B, it's gonna stay N. That's the only word I can think of that is an exception like that, bonbon. Next one is R, and it's written U-N or U-M, so like chacun, or humble. See, it's U-M-B, so it's U-M, humble, which is humble. And it's going to be written E-N or E-M. For example, lapin, vin. We have timbre, so it's E-M because it's in front of P, or impair, which is E-M because it's in front of P. Another way of writing A is A-I-N or A-I-M. So this one is not because it's in front of B or P. For example, maintenant, which is now, pain, which is bread, and the example with A-I-M is din, which is a kind of turkey. Yeah. Faim, which is hunger. Another way of pronouncing A is with Y and N, or Y and M when it's in front of B, B, or P. For example, symbole, or lynx. So Y and M is gonna make I only if it's in front of B or P. You can find other words that is gonna have Y and followed by M, but it's not gonna make A because it's not in front of B or P. For example, gymnastic. Gymnastic is Y and M, but it's in front of N, so it makes EM. Like I taught you in the other video, Y in front of a consonant makes E, so gymnastic. So when it's not in front of B or P, it doesn't make A. There's another way of pronouncing, of writing A, like this, E-I-N. But this combination can be pronounced as another way. It can be pronounced E. But let's start with A first. For example, frein, which is break, atteindre, which is get to a goal, get to somewhere, or peinture, which is painting. Whenever it's like at the end of a word and there's nothing after, or if it's in the middle of a word or in the beginning, it's gonna be "eh." When it's "eh," you see a pattern here? There's the "eh," "en," and another "e." So it's the same for everything. When it's "e" and "e," it's gonna be "eh." Reine, pen, then, queen, sadness, and vin. When it's followed by e. To make it easier for you, I rewrote it. So when it's e and e, it's n, and when it's e n, it's ein. Okay, so next nasal vowel, and the last one, because what does one we will have 4 nasal vowels. So it can be written an or am when it's before b or p. For example, banc, which is bench, or champagne, so m because it's in front of p, champagne, champagne.
Petite bourgeoisie qui boit du champagne.
The other way of writing un is a n and a m when it's in front of p and b. Yes. For example, the word enfant, which is child, there's a n, but I also underlined an because we just saw it. So enfant. My second example is temps. Once again, you don't pronounce p and s. It's temps. M because it's in front of P. Last way of pronouncing a, and it's quite a particular way of writing it, it's A-O-N. My examples are 2 kind of birds. First one is pain, which is, if I don't get it wrong, a peacock. And the second one, fawn, which is fawn, F-A-W-N. This one is O-E-N, and it makes wing. So w, just ein, wing. For example, moins, which is minus, or rejoint, which is join, to join a group, or to join someone over the phone. Okay, so my pens are really getting low, so we don't see it a lot, I'm sorry. But I'm trying to explain that the difference between 2 ways of pronouncing ion. It's really subtle, the difference, but I think it's something you're going to learn when you're going to learn the words. So the first way of being pronounced is ion. Okay, so I, y, and on. Ion. For example, lion, you don't see it, but it's L-I-O-N, lion, which is lion. Or ion, that is a word itself. When it comes to science, I'm really not bilingual, I'm sorry. But it's something in science that you use in chemistry. The other way of being pronounced is only yon. So you don't even pronounce the E, it's yon. Camion, which is truck. Avion, airplane. Avion, vion. Camion, mion. Again, thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think, and then we're gonna see each other next for another video. Bye bye!